Hi there, and welcome back to the Positivity Keys podcast. I'm your host, Laura Allen, and today we're going to continue to focus on one of the most overlooked and the most powerful tools in your growth journey, sharing your truth. So, if you've ever felt like you've done the inner work, you've tried the self-help, you've journaled, you've visualized, and you still feel stuck, well, this episode is going to be for you. I want to share something very personal with you. And here's my story. Years ago, a friend and colleague of mine was diagnosed with breast cancer. As she was going through her journey, I started having pain in my left breast. At first, I thought that I was feeling her pain as a form of empathy. But she said something that it stuck with me. Your pain is on the opposite side of mine. You really need to go get that checked. So I did. I scheduled a mammogram that led to an ultrasound, then biopsies, and then one day I got a phone call from a primary care doctor that I had only seen one time. I remember I was standing in the parking lot at work and she said the words, "You have breast cancer." Everything totally slowed down. My emotions were all over the place. And even though I was listening, I wasn't really hearing her. I went to the appointment and I got the purple binder full of information. And then I went back to work because what else was I supposed to do? I told my coworkers and I told my husband. I held it together on the outside, but on the inside, I was numb. I thought of all the women that I knew who had gone through it, some of them who survived, some of them who didn't. And I realized that I didn't know how to feel. I just knew I had to fight. I had to fight for my husband. I had to fight for my son. I had to fight for myself. So let's talk about the radiation room. After my mastectomy and my implant surgery, I started radiation, like 35 treatments, 5 days a week. I drove myself back and forth every day, 30, 40 minutes each way. And there was so much I didn't know. Even with all the reading and the research and the prep, there were just things that you couldn't fully understand until you're lying there on that table. And one of the things that they did was they marked little tattoos on my body so that the radiation machine could line up with the exact same spot each time. I didn't think of it at all, really, not much, until way later, until I got out of the shower and I saw those tiny marks in the mirror. And suddenly I was right back in that room. But I didn't stay there long because I remembered what I did to get through it. I would close my eyes and I would take myself somewhere else. I would go on walks in the woods. I would think about myself lying on the beach in the sun, hearing the ocean, picking up seashells, running through fields of flowers, fields of wildflowers. And it was how I stayed calm. I stayed present even when everything around me was way too much. During my healing, something inside me began to shift, and I kept thinking about what people who don't have years of tools, what do they do to lean on? Who hasn't studied mindset and positive thinking like I had? So I sat down and I began to write. Not a book, not a speech, just clarity. And that's where the 7 positivity keys were born. Thought, intention, visualize, feelings, action, share, and touch. These were the tools that helped me navigate not just cancer, but life. They gave me something to hold on to and something to practice and something to share. And here's the most important part of all. None of that growth would have stuck if I hadn't been willing to share what I was going through. You know, we talk a lot about growth as something that we do privately, internally, in silence. But here's what I've really learned. What I know now from my experience is that you can't grow in silence. Silence creates shame, and sharing creates space. And when you speak your truth, even shakily, even imperfectly, you shift your energy and you create resonance. You invite connection, and connection is what makes growth stick. Well, if this episode resonated with you, if you've been doing all of the right things but you still feel stuck, I would love to invite you to my upcoming workshop. It's free. It's going to be a live workshop on Wednesday, June 4th, and it's called Shift Your Mindset, Shift Your Life. Now, it's a small group, just 11 seats, because I want it to be personal, supportive, and safe. And we'll talk about what keeps you stuck, and we'll walk away and walk through it and share with each other using the share key and full positivity key system, and how it can create lasting energetic change for you. You can reserve your seat right now. The link is going to be in the description or in my bio. It's going to be on the website. It's going to be on our socials. Thank you for spending this time with me today. Thank you for hearing my story. Your story matters too. Your voice is not too much. It is absolutely not too late for you to begin again. So until next time, thank you for joining me. Again, I'm Laura Allen with the Positivity Keys podcast, and I appreciate you being here today.